Well, it says it's being recorded. I didn't hear the message though, but I guess maybe it is. Okay. Welcome to the weekly Cinder meeting. Thanks for Jot for running the meeting last week. I just got back this morning, so I'm well rested and like completely out of date with what's been going on. Okay, so announcements. Let me hit the. Okay, so this is week R-10, which means next week is R-9. And so that means it's time for mid-cycle 2, which has crept up on us fast. Cutting and pasting problems. All right, so this is not an exciting video meeting. Okay, so just so we have the dates, I'll send out a reminder, I guess like after the meeting or something. Everybody here won't need a reminder, but we're doing the mid-cycle, so there won't be a Cinder meeting. We'll do the mid-cycle instead, so please plan for 2 hours. There are a few topics on the agenda, but we could certainly do with some more. Shoot, what did I just do? All right, I've been away from my computer for a week, and I don't remember how to copy and paste anything, apparently. Okay, so
That
please,
sounds like a good
if you have
vacation.
stuff to discuss, add it. Otherwise, we'll just do the usual look at the. If you're working on a feature, please, plan to say something about your status. I know Tushar's got his reset state robustification stuff. He's been requesting people to look at the. He set up a spreadsheet, and I have to admit I haven't looked at it yet. So Tushar, hopefully you'll be able to make it. I think we should go ahead and put it on the meeting, and we should just go through some of that stuff right there so that you can get some feedback, because we're getting kind of late into this cycle. Okay, so next week's the mid-cycle. So like I was saying, it's also the new feature status checkpoint, because we have to release the Cinder client in, I think, 3 weeks for Xena. All right, and just info if you don't know what that's about. Then the week after that is the deadline for the Cinder driver features declaration. The point of that's just, we've had problems in the past with review bandwidth between bugs and everything else that's coming up. So we want to make sure the Cinder driver features have to be merged by M3, like all the other features. So we want to prioritize those over bugs. So if you're not clear on what exactly that means, then you can look at it and then just ping me if you have questions. Basically, I just want to make sure there's a blueprint in Launchpad for each of the features so that we can just look at it and make sure we're reviewing those things. So if you filed one, please check in Launchpad to make sure it's been approved so that it actually shows up in the list. If you filed one that's not in the list, ping me because it means I didn't see it or something like that. Okay, so that's the week after next. And then the week after that, we've got the OS Brick release. So not surprisingly, that means we need to prioritize Brick reviews. I saw that Zohar had updated his agent patch. Be really good for everybody to take a look at that so we can discuss any issues at the mid-cycle next week. As far as I know, that's like the biggest change that's going to be going into Brick right now. Sophia's got at least one patch up that ports some of the changes that we made to the local Brick stuff in Cinder to address some LVM segfault problems. So those would be good to look at, and those should be pretty mergeable. So take a look at those too. Let me give the link to the page, although I'm sure you can find these yourself. It looked like there's a bunch of open stuff, so feel free to go through it. But what I'd like to ask people to do is take a look at Zohar's patch, so we can give feedback next week at the mid-cycle. And Sophia's patches, just because those are problems that we'd like to fix because they're affecting CI stability. And then anything else that looks important, and then we can discuss those next week also. Okay, that's R-7, so that's a couple weeks from now. And then 2 weeks from that is going to be R-5, and that gives us milestone 3 in the feature freeze. So that's coming up fast. Not much to say other than wow. Okay, and then more announcements. So I think I sent something on the mailing list. I just don't remember anymore, but we at least discussed this in the meetings. So we've got the yoga virtual PTG. We, as the Cinder team, are going to meet. Put this. We'll be meeting in the 13 to 1700 UTC blocks from Tuesday through Friday of the PTG. So that leaves Monday open to do cross-project stuff. TC's got some things scheduled. If you notice anything, please feel free to add it to the planning Etherpad, which I should link. Okay, like I said on the Etherpad, I'm going to schedule, let me see, and then I'll read it. We're going to schedule topics from 13 to 1600, and then we can use, sometimes we end exactly on time, sometimes discussions go on a bit. So we've got that extra hour for, slack time, and maybe social hour or something like that. We've been trying to do the happy hour early in the week. I don't know if that works or not, but anyway, so if you have feedback about that, we can also discuss scheduling at the mid-cycle. But anyway, start adding topics to the PTG, especially if you have an idea for a feature or something and want to get some feedback before you do your spec. Or if you have a draft spec and want some feedback on that. So that will be in October. All right, another thing I just want to announce that showed up on the mailing list recently is the pain point collection. So there's an email thread. Let me put that in the IRC. All right, so basically, I think Julia proposed a goal that at least one of the community goals should just be, hey, each project do something that's good for the project and will help operators out, or remove technical debt or something. So in order to see if that makes sense, people are starting to collect pain points. There are 2 pain points of Cinder on there. One of them I'll discuss at the mid-cycle because I am dead set opposed to it. Anyway, there's a link in the Etherpad. Just take a look. I mean, so we're collecting information basically, but that would be a good way if you know any operators or you are an operator and every so often Walt comes across a big problem. Go ahead and put it on that Etherpad so we can sort of pick what pain points we will eliminate. Hopefully that will actually become a community goal because I think it's a good one. And I guess that's it for announcements, which is plenty. All right, so next week's the mid-cycle. Please plan for that. It'll be in video again. And hopefully we can get some stuff discussed. Okay, moving along to the actual topics then. All right, I preempted somebody, but I get to do that. All right, so just an update on the block storage API v2 removal. So far what's happened is all the patches got merged on the Cinder side, so thanks for reviews and stuff. We released Python Cinder Client 8.0.0 last week, so a major version change because we're dropping, it's not backward compatible because you can't use V2 with it anymore. I noticed upper constraints change has already merged. So there were a couple of concerns on that, but it passed all the tests. I didn't check the date it merged. It must have been last week. Anyway, so it's out there. Upper constraints have changed, so that means tests are being run using it. I haven't noticed anybody screaming on the mailing list that their stuff is broken, which is good. But anyway, so that's good. Now the Cinder, we also have the patch to remove. I wanted to release a version of Cinder that didn't contain V2 just so we could check and make sure that doesn't break anything. So that's being held up. Here's a release patch. Okay, and it looks like, was that you, Rajat, in yellow, adding those notes?
Yeah, so there was a mail on the mailing list regarding
patches proposed to multiple projects to remove V2 references. Okay. So we should probably look at those. Oh, a bunch of patches. All right, I'll take a quick look at the ones that have -1s to see if they've impacted anything. So it looks like heat, they have some trouble. All right, I'll take a quick look at those. The one that got pointed out on the release patch was OpenStack SDK. And I went and checked the tests, and it is running its functional tests using devstack from master, which includes the V2 removal. So that looks okay. Yeah, so anybody who's testing using master is already testing without the possibility of the V2 API. So I guess that's good. Okay, so Cinder client change maybe didn't break anybody, or at least nobody we know about, or who has complained. And we have these other patches to look at. So I'll take a look at the ones that failed to see what's going on there. So that may happen soon. Hopefully we'll have the release, and then anybody, I don't know that anybody tests Cinder from packages or from releases, but if they do, we will hear some more feedback, hopefully. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. Okay, so that's it for me. I will now shut up and turn the floor over to Rajat to talk about stable releases. So there you go.
Hi, so am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, thanks. So basically, it's more of a reminder than an update. So I've been going through these patches. There are a lot of patches in stable branches now. And there are a lot of patches in Wallaby also whose backward will be possibly proposed to Suri and Victoria. So yeah, just wanted to remind everyone like for the stable reviews. That's it.
Okay, thanks. And let me just put a link to your Etherpad into the minutes of the meeting. Okay. All right, next on the list, I think, is Tushar.
Hi everyone, am I
Hi,
audible?
Tushar. Yes, you are. And I will
Uh,
mute.
Actually, I have several questions for the group snapshot status. Because I have seen there are total 5 APIs which have reset state option like volume snapshot, backup, group, and group snapshot. Okay, but I have checked the policy of Cinder. There, actually, someone pushed the patch that we have to take reconfigure the policies to use reset state option in group snapshot, which is only admin, which is actually role admin only. I have pasted a link in chats. So my question is, do we really need to implement this reset status in this feature? Because we have recommended it to user that user should not use this because it will put him in a situation, bad situation. So that is my main question. Do you really need to cover this group and group snapshot API in this feature? Hello?
Sorry, I'm muted and I was thinking. I have not thought about that yet.
Because I think this feature is implemented to improve the snapshot bugs. Means reset state if user put any invalid reset request. But we already recommend user to not configure in that way for group and group snapshot. So that is my question. We have to implement it or not?
So sorry, I'm just thinking. So with the
And actually, one more point.
okay, sure.
If suppose a user search for a new user search for the commands like he want to reset state, but in Cinder client list, there is only a reset state command for volume, backup, and snapshot, not for the group or group snapshot. So that is also my thought. If user don't have a command to run, then do we really need to implement it then? If he's not going to find out a command, then is there any point to improve code for that? Because when I check in Cinder API, there are API for group reset and group snapshot reset. But in Cinder client, there is no command like we have for volume or backup.
Yeah, I guess I need to think about it a little bit more.
And one more thing about the snapshot.
Okay.
Uh, uh, for snapshot reset state, I'm putting another link. Uh, In this file, we have already seen a code for volume and backup reset state. But if we go to function of snapshot admin snapshot action, then there is no code for the reset state of safeness. Still, so my question is, if I implement this reset snapshot, so where do you need to write a code for that? Because in snapshot admin control function, there is no definition of reset state like we have in backup and volume, but not for a snapshot. And I also check in my local environment, which I mentioned in this that sheet, that if I put any state, like if you open the reset state or robustification sheet. From line 532, I put a snapshot in details. There, if suppose I have state in error and I uh, run the command reset state to available, then it will accept that command and change the reset state for error to available directly. And same for error handling, creating, or any other. If you run command and put any other state which are available option, going to accept it and change the state. So there was a question why it's not going to put any error. It's not throw any error. You accept any command and change the state.
So I just
And
wanted to
also,
comment on the group and group snapshot. I think there are reset state commands for that. So it comes under only one command, and there are different resources grouped together in a list. So I have pasted the link in the chat. You can see the commands are available for all reset states.
Okay, I personally don't have any answers at the minute. So let's put this on the agenda for next week. Tushar, can you make the meeting next week?
yes.
Okay, I know it slows you down, but at least we can look
And
at.
one more thing, I have already
Sure.
pushed 2 patches for volume reset state and backup reset state.
Okay, great. So you obviously need reviews
Yes,
on
I
those.
need review on those. So for any update.
Okay, can you go ahead and put those in IRC or in Blue Jeans, whichever one, just so we get
Okay,
them
I'll
into the
put.
notes. And then, okay, so let's, all right, yeah, because I need to go back and look at the spec because I don't even remember what exactly we're trying to accomplish here. So looks like the questions are some of the actions are admin only. So do we really need to cover them? And then there's some other reset states.
And yes, actually, that's the biggest problem because in my survey, I find out there are so many commands. So do you really have to add that many exception case? Like if you open the sheet, there are total more than 400 commands, different situations.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll have more time to go through this next week in the meeting. So thanks for bringing this up. I'll make sure I go back and read through this stuff.
Okay.
Eric posted a note that, I mean, reset state in general is probably admin only by default in pretty much all situations. So I think the idea is, even though it's admin only, an administrator might not realize the implications of doing this in all situations. And so I think that's one. So the robustness is aimed at operators as well as just, end users. So I think that's one way to look at this. But hopefully we'll be able to get some better feedback next week. So thanks, Tushar. What time zone are you in?
So I'm from India to IST.
Okay. So would it be helpful if we do yours first early in the meeting? So like right around
Yeah.
1400? Okay. All right. I'll make sure that we hit hit you first then, so you can get your feedback. All right, and then everybody else, please take a look at some of these links that Tushar's posted, and I copied them into the IRC notes, just so we can give better feedback at mid-cycle. All right, thanks, Tushar.
Okay, thank you.
I should have said anything else first, but thank you also.
Can you also note down your questions which you asked just now in the Etherpad, so if anyone can answer it later?
Note down in where that Cinder meeting agenda.
Yeah, in the Etherpad below your topic.
Yeah, just drop a few there.
Okay.
That would be helpful.
Okay, I'll put it.
Okay, I should.
One minute. I'll put all those questions in that wiki page. Is that okay? So
Yeah,
it
that's
will
also
be
fine.
Okay. Okay, so just type what we just said to IRC. Okay, Sophia is up next.
Hey, hey, can you hear me? Because I am having some bandwidth problems right
Okay,
now.
yeah, you sound good actually.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is really quick actually. It's just to heads up on that batch. So the long story short is that when creating an encrypted volume from a snapshot of an unencrypted volume, it's possible for the data in the new volume to be silently truncated. So in order to fix this, only enforce the resize when the destination volume is size is bigger than the source volume. And the idea is to calculate the new size in case of the destination volume is bigger, based on the difference and not in round numbers. So I think that this patch is ready for reviews. I know John left a comment asking for adding comments on the code, which I think is cool and is reasonable. But I would like to see any more review before updating, just in case I'm missing something big or something really that I should change. There it is. Sorry. Yeah. So it's basically asking for reviews.
Okay, all right, thanks. Yeah, let me just I'll put a note in IRC that it's ready. I mean,
Thanks, Ryan.
okay. Um, Okay, so thanks. So Sophia needs reviews, but the code's in a state where it's ready to go. So basically just some reviews so she can make the updates to the comments that John suggested, which she thinks is a good idea, but she would like to just do one more update. Okay, thank you. All right, anything else? Okay. All right, so that's everything on the agenda. So I think now we can go to open discussion. Okay, anyone got anything? Just wait a minute or two to see if anybody pops something up. I don't feel like we need to like extend the meeting, so if nobody has anything to talk about, we have a big pile of reviews to get to, so I'm perfectly willing to end the meeting early. But we'll wait a second in case anybody in IRC's got something. All right, so don't forget about the mid-cycle next week, so please block off 2 hours instead of 1 on your calendar. There won't be a Cinder meeting. We'll be doing mid-cycle. I'll send out a reminder. Is it better to send it out like Friday or Monday? Anybody have any feedback on that? I guess I can send it out Friday, and then people whose week starts on Sunday will see it, and other people will see it also. Okay, seems like there's no discussion. We had plenty of stuff we went through, so that's good. So please scroll back through the meeting minutes or the Etherpad to grab links to stuff to look at. The brick review of Zohar's, yeah, it's the agent for he's been working on it forever. We've approved the spec. Please take a look at it. Sophia's patch, and then Tushar had that series of questions, so please look over his wiki page before the mid-cycle so we can give him quality feedback. And I think that was pretty much it. Okay. All right, we can stick around for the, oh, we got a lot of bugs. Well, that's exciting. Okay. I'll end this meeting and then we can do the bug meeting here, which we don't have to record. So I will go ahead and stop the recording then. So thanks for attending. Stick around for the bug review meeting, please.